The Death Egg is hurtling towards Earth, and only one thing can stop it: the power of friendship. Team Sonic is off to space to save Amy, but they're gonna need more than friendship to get her back. They're gonna need some serious firepower. In this episode, Team Sonic goes into space for the first time ever to rescue Amy from the clutches of Eggman, who has finally gone too far. This is an adventure that will push the limits of their friendship, their speed, and their ability to collect rings while in zero gravity. Welcome to Sonic Forces, where the fate of the universe rests on the blazing fast spines of a blue hedgehog. It's so high up in the atmosphere that it's actually in space now. Unfortunately, she's still encased in a block of ice, so Sonic hits it with all his might, busts her free, and the two hug each other. Happily, she was only pretending to be frozen. Just wanted to teach Eggman a lesson about trusting strangers, and then she does something even worse. She tells Sonic that she is hungry and asks if he picked up any snacks on the way over. Man, sometimes Amy can be so selfish. They're all prisoners of war and victims of the roboticization process. But Amy's the only one who hasn't been turned into a badnik yet. Sonic and Amy escape in a commandeered Eggman mech while Tails flies the tornado in support. A few minutes later, the whole gang is back on solid ground. Mission accomplished. Tails provided air support from the sky, destroying any badniks that got too close to the tornado. And Knuckles lent his super strength to smash some obstacles out of the way. Until next time, you can find me on social media. As always, Sonic did most of the heavy lifting, racing through the Death Egg, taking down robot after robot until he reached Amy. But before he can do any evil, Sonic gives him a spin dash right in the face. For one, the team had to learn how to fight in space. You can't just run around like you do on Earth because there's no gravity. But Sonic never gave up. He was determined to save Amy no matter what. And in the end, he did. The gang is back together again and ready to take on whatever comes next. Luckily, Sonic adjusted really quickly and took down Eggman's space badniks with ease. But it was harder to navigate those tricky mazes, and finding the emeralds was next to impossible. Thankfully, Sonic had his wits, his speed, and the help of his friends. Then our hero sets his sights on freeing Amy, but there are some pretty big obstacles in his way. First, there's a pair of space-style badniks with freeze guns. They try to slow Sonic down, but they're no match for his blazing speed. Even in space, it's a breeze to dodge their attacks and destroy their guns. And when they try to freeze him, Sonic just laughs because this freezing temperature actually kind of nice after a long run. Eggman wants to use the power of the Master Emerald to roboticize her and add her to his army. But he's also built a machine to siphon the Emerald's power without destroying them. And that's not gonna work, not on his watch. The Death Egg is a giant space station and battle fortress combining the functions of a gunship, a power plant, and a torture device, and it just looks plain evil. To start this adventure, Sonic and his buddies head straight for the source of all evil, the Death Egg. Once inside, Sonic finds Amy tied up and hanging out with some new animal friends. Eggman opens the door and steps out of his mech to gloat over his soon-to-be newest weapon. Next, Sonic races through a series of mazes, dodges some laser beams, bounces off some trampolines, and takes down more badniks until he reaches Amy. With that taken care of, it's time to leave the Death Egg. This was a super fun adventure, but it came with some serious challenges. And what would Sonic be up to without his trusty sidekicks? But it wasn't easy to bring her home. The Death Egg was filled with deadly traps and mazes. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe so you don't miss any new episodes.